Okay, question number 3. This one we're going to solve the inequality algebraically. And we need to remember from the homework on this problem, whenever we do the intervals, even though it has less than or equal to, we will not put brackets in this interval notation. We will only use brackets in the final answer. Okay, so what we have to do is find out our critical values. We do that by taking the bottom, and the bottom cannot be 0. We cannot divide by 0, so we set that one not equal to 0 when we solve. We get x cannot equal to 3. So this is one of my critical values. And then we find our other critical value by getting the numerator set equal to 0 or 1, but it's better just to solve the whole thing. So x plus 4. And then on the bottom you have x minus 3. And so this is less than or equal to 1. So the way we find the critical value for the numerator, we're going to take this and multiply it over here to this side. So we're going to have x plus 4 less than or equal to 1 times x minus 3. All right, so 1 times anything is itself. So we're going to get x plus 4 is less than or equal to x minus 3. All right, then we're going to combine terms. So I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. That goes to 0, so that gives me x is less than or equal to, this will be x minus 7. And then we're going to move the x over by subtracting x. Okay, so here, when our x's divide out, they both go away. So we have 0 is less than or equal to negative 7. 0 is not less than negative 7. 0 is greater than 7. So on this part, we get no solution. There's no critical value, so nothing that we can use here. So we only have one critical value. That would be x equals 3, or rather, x cannot equal 3. And so on our number line, we will have one critical value. That will be 3. And then we have the left side of 3 to negative infinity. And we have the right side to positive infinity. This one, you want to actually find the values here. So we have x plus 4 in our original problem divided by x minus 3 less than or equal to 1. We need this side to be 0. So what we're going to do is we're going to subtract 1 and move it over. So when I do that, my problem now becomes x plus 4 divided by x minus 3, and then minus 1 is less than or equal to 0. So we just subtract that 1 over. So this is the part we're going to be solving right here, making sure this is less than 0. So we're going to pick a number less than 3, 0. Pick a number greater than 3. I like to use big even numbers, so I'm going to use 10. Okay, so we're going to try 0 and 10 in this expression. When I plug a 0 in for both of these, this top number will become 4. The bottom number will be negative 3. So when you plug a 0 for both the x's, you get 4 over negative 3. And we're going to be subtracting 1 from that. We want to know, is that less than or equal to 0? So negative or positive. When I do this, this is going to give me a negative number. Negative number minus a negative, we're going more negative. So overall, this will be negative. Okay, so this interval gives me negative. I don't actually need the value, I just need the sign. This will be negative. When we plug in 10, this top part is positive, it will be 14. And I plug in 10 down here, 10 minus 3, that bottom part will be positive, that's 7. And we're going to be subtracting 1. So 7 or 14 divided by 7 is 2. Let me write this all out. So this will be 2 minus 1, and this will give me a positive 1, and that is not less than 0. That comes out positive. Okay, so I have one interval that's negative, which is what we want. We want less than 0, negative. and I have one interval that came out positive, is not what we want. So our interval will be from negative infinity to 3, and the other interval on the other side will be 3 to infinity. But the one that we're going to use as our answer will be negative infinity to 3. Now, normally, because of the equal to, you would put 3 in bracket, okay, normally. But at the beginning, when we solve this, we already know that we cannot use 3, because if we use 3, that makes our denominator 0. 3 minus 3 is 0, and we can't divide by 0. So instead of using a bracket here, this time, this is a special case, you will use parentheses on your final answer. Okay, so intervals, negative infinity to 3. And then this interval will be 3 to infinity. And then the sign for this one was negative. The sign for this one was positive from our number line here. And then what is the solution? It's the one that is negative less than 0. So we're going to be doing negative infinity to 3. And both of those will be in parentheses because we cannot use 3.